With this, I would like to introduce our second customer today, Josh Dye, Senior Vice President, Information Technologies at Jefferies. Josh, please join us on stage.
Morning.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
Good. Good morning.
Good. How are you feeling? First time in Spain, right?
Yes, first time in Spain. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful here.
You arrived 2 days, 3 days ago?
Yeah, Monday night.
Okay, so no jet lag anymore.
No, got over that.
Okay, so you stay until Saturday, right?
Yeah, we'll fly out Sunday morning.
Okay, good. My family is as well here, and so we're going to explore a little bit the city.
A little bit, yeah.
Good. Okay, good. So great to have you here.
Yes.
So let's start maybe with the first question.
Sure.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and Jefferies?
Sure. So at Jefferies, we are actually the largest independent, full-service global investment bank, headquartered out of the United States. We have about 3,700 employees. We're spread across 33 global offices. Are, as mentioned, headquartered in New York, but we also have a regional headquarter in London. One thing that we do at Jefferies, we actually have helped a few big technology companies recently with their IPO, acting as a book runner. For example, you may know of Cloudflare, a leading CDN, DDoS, and DNS service provider. So we recently helped them with their IPO. As for myself, I look after everything network security, cloud security, WAF, our SIEM, UBA, and a few other things as well. Okay, so, but I understand you are also a firewall customer of Yes,
ours, right?
of course, yes.
Just a little bit, right?
Yeah, so that began for us in 2013. Got our first pair of 3020s, got our hands dirty. Since then, we've expanded greatly to numerous 5050s, 5060s, 5250s, multiple virtual firewalls running in the cloud as well. And we're leveraging all the fun features that Palo Alto is really offering us. User ID with Active Directory-based group controls. SSL decryption is fully enabled. We're leveraging Wildfire. IDS, IPS is enabled. URL filtering is flowing through it. We're also doing a lot of cool dynamic address grouping with MindMeld and the cloud plugins. So a lot of cool things.
So you use it all, basically.
We try. Yes.
Almost, right? Almost. New stuff to come, I guess, as well. And that's why we're going to talk about this as well. So as a financial services firm, what are the expectations set from your executive team?
Sure. I think it's like most other companies. It boils down to that we really need to secure our clients' information, right? And we need to do that while still enabling a very modern and secure mobile workforce for our employees.
So following on this, what are the initiatives you are driving with your team?
Sure. Again, I think it's most like other big enterprises as well, but one of our big things is cloud transformation. That started about 3 years for us, 3 years ago, and we really started to treat initially the cloud as an extension of our data center, and it was only connected to our data center to start off with. The egress and the default route was pointing back to our data centers and then flowing through those on-premise firewalls, Palo Alto firewalls, to the internet. And since then, we've just recently started deploying a lot of VM series to host the ingress and egress in and out of the cloud, which provides us with that enterprise-grade layer 7 firewall and not just layer 3 and 4 rules.
Okay, any other key initiatives which you were driving?
Yeah. Starting about a year and a half ago, we wanted to replace all of our laptop VPNs. And we looked at and started to deploy Prisma Access.
All right, now we start to talk, right?
Yes.
So what were some of the challenges you were facing that were actually leading you to look at Prisma Access at the time?
Yeah, I think most of our challenge were centered around the functionality and the security of the laptops. We wanted to provide our end users with a more unified, faster, localized, and secure laptop experience. And that boiled down to 3 kind of key challenges that we were facing. The first one being we had a very complex configuration, putting a very big burden on our operations teams. For example, depending on if you were on a VDI or if you had a physical desktop or a laptop, there were different technologies managing the security for each of those different devices, one of which was Palo Alto. And so as you can imagine, with every change that came in, had to be manually synchronized across those 3 different solutions. So a big burden and very prone to operational errors. A second challenge would be our end users would complain of the inconsistency across their devices. So for example, an employee would come to me and say, hey, I have my VDI, but when I go travel or I go to a hotel and I'm hopping on my laptop, one thing worked on my VDI when I'm sitting in the office, but it doesn't work on my laptop. And it's hard to explain to him that, there's different technologies. They don't care. They just want it to work, right? It needs to be consistent. And our third challenge was we had some DLP concerns. Nothing would stop a end user going home and plugging into a home network and copying files that they had on their laptop to a local home share drive. So those are our 3 big concerns that we had.
Well, talking to a user, I totally feel what you say.
Yeah.
So how did Prisma Access help solve the challenges you were set out to solve in a better way than other solutions had?
Yeah. So one thing, as I mentioned earlier, the manually managing the 3 separate security policies, VDI, physical desktop, laptop. As a company, we've kind of taken the approach of moving to a VDI as your primary computing device. And we already had Panorama and the on-prem firewalls managing those. So Prisma Access just made a logical, and it made sense. It was a natural extension to what we were doing with Panorama, with SSL decryption and everything else. It was the same exact security policy. We didn't have to change anything. We no longer had to make the changes to all those other products at the same time. It was just one policy. And so that was a huge benefit. Another challenge we're able to solve with it is it fixed our localization issues. Historically, we had all of our traffic tunnel back to a data center, back to our regional data centers. And so if I had a UK-based banker travel to New York, he's looking for a local pub, and he's getting a search result based in UK, not New York, right? So now with the over 100 Prisma Access connection points, the POPs, that are globally deployed, it really fixed our localization when our end users are connecting in. Now that UK-based banker gets a New York-based search result when he's in New York, right? And with that, we also saw an increase in our speeds to the internet for those users and substantially decreased latency, especially accessing those SaaS apps, because Prisma Access is literally sitting right next to those major SaaS apps in the cloud. And so, I think Prisma Access, thinking about it, Prisma Access is really moving the edge of the network closer to the end user. Whereas before, the edge of the network was always your perimeter firewall in your data center, right? Now with Prisma Access, it's moving closer and closer to that user, on the laptop. It's connecting directly to the cloud rather than routing all the way through the internet, right? So what Gartner has started to define as the SASE, the secure access service edge, if you really break that down in each piece, the secure access service edge, if you think about it, Prisma Access and its offerings are really aligning to that definition. And in the end, it's really about the consistency of the end user experience. If a solution that we deploy doesn't properly balance the security and the usability for our employees of that technology, I think we've kind of failed as security engineers and architects, because we need to make it easier or better for our employees to be able to do their jobs. Security can't just be, an afterthought, but it also can't be too hard, right? So we have to find that balance, what works best for our company. And for us, Prisma Access was able to really help us find that balance.
It's awesome to listen to you.
Yeah.
If you ever look for a sales job, please give me a call. So what's next for Jefferies, and how is Prisma setting you up to support Jefferies' cloud transformation?
Prisma Access has given us the ability to support the concept of the shared office workspace. So think of like Regus or WeWork. And we're able to support that without the worry of the underlying network, since we're able to block that local access to the network and force the full tunnel VPN back to Prisma Access, and it's able to secure it, right? And it's also enabled our users to work from home more and easier with this solution. It's also enabled the desk space hoteling model for one of our offices. And we're also investing very heavily in building a cloud-native internal app called Madison. And Prisma Access provides that critical role in that reliable, secure, effective connectivity to that cloud app for our mobile workforce.
Okay, so I could continue an hour with you for sure, but still let's come to the last question.
Yeah.
So you saw the announcement yesterday where we introduced the SD-WAN, DLP, and a bunch of other new functionalities in Prisma Access. So which pieces are you most excited about?
You know, I think it would be, it'd probably be the DLP. DLP functionality. DLP is a big focus for us at Jefferies. It's a large project. We've been working on it for about 1.5 years. And seeing Palo Alto provide that level of DLP capability at the edge of the network, and also, as I mentioned, closer to you, the edge of the network, is very exciting for us.
Okay, awesome. It's an awesome story. I really want to thank you for coming and taking the way from the US all down here to Ignite 2019 EMEA. What an impressive story. And I really want to thank you for being here.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
And then
all the best.
If anyone has any questions, about Prisma Access, happy to help out.
You're going to have a lot of questions, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you.